Hello there guys, it's LaserBeast here, and today I want to answer one simple question. What can you do in Dragonflight at level 70? This question has been asked quite a lot on the forums and in other places, and I think people are a bit concerned that because we don't have any sort of borrowed power system to farm things like anima for, what are we actually going to spend our time doing? So let's get the obvious things out of the way first. Of course, it's World of Warcraft. We're going to have dungeons, we're going to have Mythic Plus to do, we're going to have a raid to complete, and we're going to have casual and rated forms of PvP. So that forms the bulk of basically gearing up our characters and getting more powerful. So Blizzard have confirmed that the Season 1 will start for Dragonflight on the 12th of December. So for the raid, the Vault of Incarnates, Normal, Heroic and Mythic will open on the same day on the reset on the 12th of December. Mythic Plus will also become available, and you probably know already by now, but there's a new dungeon rotation, so we're not just going to have the Dragonflight dungeons in this first season for Mythic Plus, we're going to have some different ones. So we're going to have Ruby Life Pools, the Knockout Offensive, the Azure Vault and the Algathar Academy. Those are 4 new ones. But as well as that, we're going to have the Halls of Valor and the Court of Stars from the Legion expansion, and then we're going to have the Shadowmoon Burial Grounds and the Temple of the Jade Serpent from Warlords Draenor and Mr. Pandaria respectively. So the aim is here to try and rotate the dungeons around a bit more so that we don't have the same dungeons to do for like the next 2 years, and hopefully people don't get as bored. Some people love this, some people really don't. It is what it is. Hopefully it'll keep things feeling a bit more fresh. And obviously the PvP season will also start at the same time, December the 12th, and then you'll be able to go into your rated battlegrounds and your rated arenas and start earning your gear from there. And another question that's been asked quite a lot, are there any new battlegrounds? No, there aren't for now. But what you do get as a PvPer is the new rated solo shuffle that you can go and earn gear from. It's a competitive way to gear up now, and you can earn rewards just the same, such as the vicious mounts and the vicious saddles and all that stuff. So something for you to do there if you like that solo sort of PvP style. And if you are into your PvP and you like a bit of world PvP, you'll get rewarded for completing certain world PvP activities now in the Dragon Isles, such as getting honourable kills of course, but also for doing some sort of PvP world quests that give you a currency called Bloody Tokens. Now, you can take those bloody tokens to an NPC called Militia in Valdrakken near the target dummies, and use it to buy some decent eye level PvP gear with a nice PvP orientated set bonus on it. Now the sets themselves look really nice, so even if you're not that into PvP, it's something you can work on to get all the time, just as a nice little transmog set. But it's a good way to get a bit of PvP gear before you actually step foot into the arena or the rated battlegrounds. So those are the obvious things, the endgame systems and features that we always have, but what's new? So again, rep is something that we do always have, but they've done it a different way this time, and they've done it in the form of renown. Now don't get scared, you don't have to choose a covenant or anything like that in Dragon Isles. It's just you basically have a renown system with each of the major factions. So you will get dailies, and there will be a weekly quest and sometimes bi-weekly quests in here, which are going to get you to basically go out into the world and just gain a certain amount of rep with the Dragon Isles factions, with some decent rewards for doing so. And so basically you're going to be just chipping away at earning renown with these factions as you do anything and everything around the Dragon Isles. You get rep from a lot of different sources, so some of these things that you unlock through getting renown levels higher and higher will be account wide. And you will get renown from the moment you get in the Dragon Isles, you'll start gaining renown and rep with the factions, so you should be able to unlock some of these things while you're leveling up, and if not, you'll just get them after you get to 70 and start earning more reputation. If you are wondering which things are account wide and which things aren't, then you can check this by looking for the blue text that says account unlock underneath the title of a feature when you hover over it in the renown page, just like I'm showing you on the screen right now. So, at level 70, you'll get a quest called Open Orientation. Now, this will encourage you to travel around the world and get introduced to the key NPCs from each of the factions, and get to know a bit more about them. So, here you can check out the rewards as well while you're going around. So there's tons of rewards from reps and the renown system. So there's the 4 main factions that you can earn renown with: the Dragonscale Expedition, the Iskara Tuskar, the Marek Centaur, and the Valdrakken Accord. So there is a currency that you'll gather from doing most activities around the Dragon Isles called Dragon Isle Supplies that you use to basically buy items from these different factions that unlock obviously as you increase your renown. Now these do come from loads of different sources, such as treasures out in the world, killing bosses, completing quests, completing world quests, finding little chests, you name it, they pretty much come from everywhere. So let's have a look at the Dragonscale Expedition first and see what you can get from those. So you can get some decent eye level gear to help you fill in slots that you don't get from Mythic Plus or Raiding or PvP if you get unlucky with a certain slot. There's bits of gear there that you might want to buy, and if not for the eye level, maybe just for the transmog. You also get access to a lot of dragon riding mount customizations. Now some of these are in the form of profession items where you need to actually learn the recipe to craft the scroll that teaches you the customization, and these are set on bind on pickup, so you're going to have that specific profession to learn some of the different customizations for your dragon. Now, while I've mentioned this, I will just digress slightly to say that customizing your dragon is going to be something that you're going to do ongoing throughout the expansion pretty much, so it's a massive task to get all the dragon riding customizations unlocked. When you're in the rostrum of transformation, you can see where each customization option comes from, so you might find one that you really like, for example, say the red skin for the Highland Drake, and you might think, right, I want to get that, where do I get it from? Then you can set that as a goal to go and earn that appearance, but you might need to get your renown very high, or you might need to find that slot from a certain raid boss or something, for example, so it's going to be a long-term aim. Okay, so back to the rewards from the Dragonscale Expedition. So there's a ton of profession-related items such as patterns, profession equipment that you can equip and have as cosmetics for when you are doing your certain profession. And the ones from the expedition, as you can imagine, focus around sort of, funnily enough, archaeological looking things like a brush and like a little knife and things like that. Which is weird seeing as archaeology has kind of been put in the bin. But again, it is what it is. These are just things that you can get if you want them as cosmetics. Now, as with most of the reputations, there's some nice little toys and some recipes to make toys from professions again. Now, there's pets as well, and eventually there's mounts you can unlock when you get to quite high levels of renown. And there's also some normal types of cosmetic gear like capes and the ensembles, such as the recolors of the questing gear that you can get if you like those. So moving on to the Iskara Tuskar, these are the guys that are in the Azure Span down at the bottom in the frozen areas by the water. Now these guys do also have similar kind of rewards that you can expect, some profession recipes for crafting, and they've got some pets, toys, and they've also got some mounts which are going to be quite sought after because they are the Otuks. And there's 4 of those you can collect, and I can imagine there's a lot of people that are going to want to get their hands on those. Now each faction does have its sort of own zone-wide thing you can unlock, so for the Dragonscale Expedition I didn't mention there is a rock climbing kind of mini game you can do. Now for the Iskara Tuskar, they have different types of fishing, so you can unlock ice fishing, lava fishing, you can even unlock fishing with a harpoon, and even set up fishing nets to gradually catch fish over time that you can then revisit to collect the fish. Now there's also these rare pools that you can unlock to fish from, so I'd imagine these are just going to give you higher quality fishing reagents to use in your cooking recipes. And there's also some cosmetic Tuskar appearances that you can unlock for your gear. So again, the Centaur, the Marek Centaur, they follow a similar reward system where there's cosmetic appearances, Drake customization manuscripts, battle pets, I think there's a mount as well, but their unique thing is the hunts with the centaurs. Now you can take on different companions and or buffs when you do so as you gain renown, and you basically be stronger out in the world when you're hunting with this pack of centaurs, so something different there again just for a bit of flavour. And again, the Valdrakon Accord, similar things that are standard for the rep rewards, such as plenty of dragon riding customization options. There's lots of cosmetics available from this Valdrakon Accord reputation at higher renown levels, and they kind of take on the appearances of the aspects, so there's the different colour tints to match the different dragonflights. And there's also armour and weapon cosmetics which look really nice. As well as the usual, there's some crafting recipes which the crafters are going to want to get their hands on, and there's some toys and some pets, and I think there's a mount. If there is, it'll be in the video right now. So the rep thing is going to take quite a lot of work. It's going to be, again, one of those ongoing things that you're gradually going to chip away at, gain more renown, unlock more rewards. So that's a nice thing to have as we do things like world quests, which obviously are going to be part of the endgame systems too. You will unlock world quests when you get to level 70, and then once they're unlocked, they're also unlocked for your ult, so I'm pretty sure you can do world quests as you level up, because you don't need to do the campaign when you level up the second time either, so world quests will be there to start getting more reps straight away as you level up on your ults. So there's another form of rep, which is the Rathian and Sibelian support, so each week you get to choose one of the guys to support for that given week. You can then gain rep with the dragon that you choose. Now, these are going to give you a series of quests to complete in that week. You can just complete these all at once at the start of the week if you want to, or you can space them out, it's totally up to you, but you've got that week to do them in before this resets. Now, these guys offer various rewards from their reputation, mostly cosmetic gear with a black Dragonflight theme as you can imagine, as well as some customizations for your dragon riding mounts again, and finally some gear that you may get some use out of, which is around normal raid quality item level. These quests do involve killing a lot of sort of elite guys, so you probably just want to group up for this and smash your way through it. So that's pretty much the reputation side of things dealt with. Now, another thing you can do at endgame is the Primal Storms. Now, this is a world event, and it's very similar to the pre-patch event that we had for Dragonflight, so different types of elemental storms are going to be active across the different zones. You basically just go in, defeat the creatures, and fight back the storm, kill the special creatures, and then shut the whole thing down. Now, as you complete these Primal Storm events, you're going to gain a currency called Elemental Overflow. Now, you can use this to purchase gear, currently equivalent to the Heroic Dungeon gear, so it's not much use other than for the transmog. However, the gear can be upgraded. So once you purchase the base piece from Mithressa at the Sapphire Enclave in Valdrakken, you can then talk to the guy next to her, Rathelshi, to trade the base piece in, plus some storm sigils to increase the item level up to 385. So, which is just on par with the loot from the first raid bosses on normal difficulty, so it's a bit better. So it's slightly higher than base level mythic dungeon gear, and it keeps the same set bonus and appearance. So, as I just mentioned there is a set bonus tied to this gear, so this only works in the outdoor content in the Dragon Isle, so this is a nice aim for people that don't want to do dungeons and raids or rated PvP, and it's a bit similar to the Covenant set that we saw from Shadowlands. This time it's quite a big bonus to your damage, so it will be really nice when completing world quests and killing rares. It even has a cheat death styled set bonus for the 6 piece, which is worth picking up along the way. So how do you get the primal cores to upgrade the gear? So you'll get primal cores by collecting storm sigils from enemies that you defeat during the primal storms, and you can trade these storm sigils in to Rathelshi for a primal core. Now it seems that you can only trade in one of each type of primal core each week, so one of air, water, fire and earth. So it is going to take you quite some time to upgrade your full set of this. So this does seem to be a long-term goal aimed at the kind of solo casual players, but you could make use of this to fill in a slot. For example, if you get really unlucky trying to get a gear in a certain item slot, you could just use this to fill in that piece of gear. You can also get weapons from this too, so it is a guaranteed bit of bad luck protection you could rely on early on in your gearing up journey. So there is a mount tied to this system too for 2000 elemental overflow, and there's also some pets as well, some pretty cool battle pets, so you'll likely have loads of this currency if you aim to complete the achievements for this open world activity, or if you simply just do these as you stumble across them as you're gaming, then you're probably going to get loads of this currency over time to be able to spend on these rewards. Okay, so other things you can do at endgame. So there are different mini-games and events going on. So one of those is the Siege of Dragonbane Keep. Now, this is in the Waking Shores. You unlock it when you get to level 5 renown with the Valdrakken Accord. And when you unlock it, a little guy will appear called Herald Flaps. He'll come and find you and offer you a quest to go to the keep and do the event. So this is a scenario type event with 5 stages, working through the keep to defeat the boss at the end, and it does give you a chest with some decent loot in it, which again could help with your gearing up early on, and it gives you some more supplies and a bit of gold. This event, or scenario if you will, isn't available all the time, but you can go to this location on the map and wait for it to start. I don't know when the exact start times for this are, how long is between each different siege event, but there will be an announcement when it's about to begin across the zone, and I believe it also announces the start of it in Valdrakken 2. A different event you can take part in is the Tuskar Community Feast, so you can participate in creating the Iskara Soup, so you basically do various tasks such as kicking fish back into the pot, fishing to catch more fish to add into the pot, tenderizing the meat, stomping crabs that are trying to eat it, defeating enemies that are trying to steal the soup. So this event lasts for 10 minutes, and the more tasks that you complete while the event is active, the better quality the soup is, and once it is complete, you can interact with the pot for a buff. Now the buff is going to be stronger the higher rank the soup is. Now here's some data mined versions of the spell that I found on Wowhead, so thanks to Wowhead for the data mining on that one. You can check the map to see when this event will start and see when it is active, and it'll also tell you how long is left of the event if it is currently active, so you can know how long you've got left to go and take part. There will be more events like this and some mini-games, as like the rock climbing thing I mentioned with the Dragon Scale Expedition, but basically the gist is there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can do that just involves just exploring and having a good time. There's no system really that you should feel like you have to do that's completely mandatory, otherwise you're doing yourself a disservice, you're going to be less powerful than other people. It really does feel like they want you to just go in there and just explore and just have a good time. So as well as those things out in the world, obviously a massive new one for any crafters or profession guys out there are the professions. Now, these are going to take a fairly long time to level up. There's so much more in depth. I haven't even basically touched the surface when I've been testing these on the beta, but it's pretty safe to assume if you enjoy crafting or you're a crafter for your guild, for example, you're going to have so much to do and so much to discover and learn, and people are going to be loving you if you are one of the guys that can create the high quality items early on, or even just going forward. You're going to be able to spend a lot of time, improving your professions and learning new recipes and such, getting them from the different sources. And obviously then you can then use the new work order system, so people can just request items to be made from you. You can go and check, do those, maybe make some commission on it. Crafters in Dragonflight are just going to have a really good time overall, and I'm even going to try some of this myself as well. It's got me excited to see what the whole system's like. So as I briefly touched on before, I said that a bit about the crafting. There's a lot to do, really. There is a lot to do at endgame and Dragonflight, but the difference is this time it's all mandatory. It's completely optional. You don't need to go and do rock climbing if you don't want to. If you think that's stupid, then just forget it exists. You don't need to make the Tuscar soup. You can basically do whatever you want. If you just want to spend your time in Mythic Plus, then you can do that. If you want to spend hours just going scouring through the zones, finding all the treasures, getting all the little achievements for doing certain random quirky activities out in the world, do whatever just suits your playstyle best. There is definitely a lot of things going on that you can do to fill your time other than the usual things we do to gear up. Personally, I am quite happy not having a borrow power system that you feel like you have to constantly farm with to keep up. It kind of feels more relaxed and a lot less rush with no pressure really from that kind of system. Let me know what you think about this, and do you think there's enough content at endgame in Dragonflight to make it worthwhile your time? Let me know what you think, and guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more guides and content for World of Warcraft like this. Thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate your time. Take care guys, I've been LaserBeast and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.